Hey, how's it going, YouTube? Mike Jacobson here. I just wanted to create a quick video demonstrating how I've been using this TD27 module by Roland to create custom drum kits and sounds. It really doesn't have to be that complicated right out the gate, so let's get started. Alright, so the first thing that I would do when you're getting acquainted with your new drum kit and new module is I would go through the factory sounds and just find something that fits with your style and the type of music that you play. Like, for example, I play a lot of classic rock, so the Rocky Road was a good first choice for me. But it doesn't really matter. You can pick any kit. I think for this video, I'm going to pick Studio B. And then what you're going to do from there, if you'd like to preserve the stock sound, what you're going to do is hit Kit, Edit, Other, and you're going to go over here, and you're going to copy it. Copy Kit. And I'm going to move it way to the back. At the very end of your the kits, you'll have a bunch of empty slots. I've filled most of them, as you can see here. But I'm just going to pick one I don't need anymore. We don't need this headspace one. We're not going to do that song. Make sure you pick the right kit, because if you mess that up, you're going to lose something potentially important. So you're going to hit copy. And it's going to ask you, are you sure? So you can see it moved. It was at slot 20, and now it's at slot 90. All right, so now that we've copied our kit, just to keep track of it, I'm going to hit Kit Edit, hit Other, and you can change the name of it. I'm just going to call this one, it's kind of a pain in the ass, but I'm going to call it YouTube. And then you hit Exit. And while we're here, sometimes I like to change the color as well. You can pick any color. Let's make this one blue. All right, so there you go. It's YouTube and it's blue. All right, so now that you've created your kit, renamed it so it's easy to identify, what I would do is I would think of your preferred acoustic kit. You know, all your toms, what are they made out of? Think of all your cymbals. And I would just go through. For instance, let's start with the toms here. So the ones on this kit, they started with the hardwood. But what I play typically is maple. So I'm going to change these to maple. And all you're doing, you go back and forth. If you start twisting this instrument knob, this is the first tom, tom 1, you can see. Tom 2. You're just going to rotate that. We got maple 10, maple 12, and let's change our floor tom. So that sounds more like kind of my acoustic kit. Now this one, it's a little too open for my taste, so that sounds alright. Maybe tune down the tuning. See, it's very easy. And you got these 4 knobs here. You know, your overall volume is level. Just changing the instrument to what kind of drum you want there. Tuning, you can go up or down. Floor time I like a little bit more open. I'll be honest, I kind of like the snare. Now the other thing you can do, if you hit this edit button, hit edit one more time, you can change the depth, the coat, you can change heads. There's a clear. I actually kind of like the coated. I actually like turning up the snare buzz too. Because if you think about how a real drum would resonate, you would get that snare buzz sound, and it kind of just makes it sound more full. So I know some people like to avoid that, but I like to turn that on. There's decay. There's a bunch of stuff you could just mess with. Let's go to some cymbals now. So that one came stock with the traditional thin crash. But for my taste, I like dark cymbals, so let's see if we can find a dark. Yeah, I like that. And now for cymbals, the tuning is going to be based on the size. So actually, when I play out, I like having a 20, a little deeper. It's really just changing all the stock cymbals to choices that you would use in real life. I think that's a great place to start. That's kind of cool. You can mess with some hats. Traditional lathe is a great option. Ooh, those sound nice too. All right, so we don't need to go through for every drum, but what I would do is just go through piece by piece and try to get the drum sound you're looking for out of each drum and cymbal, and use your acoustic preferences as a guide. Sometimes it might not line up. Like, for instance, in real life, I use a brass snare, but I find that I like the sound of the steel snare a little bit better. And you're going to find that out over time. It might take, a couple months to find exactly what you like, but just keep tinkering with it and you'll get it eventually. It's a constant thing. You'll be evolving and refining over time. But that's part of the fun of it. So now, what I would recommend doing with headphones to really hear it, I would hit this kit edit. And if you look here, you have overhead and room mics. So once you found the sound you like, I would just scroll through. This is where we're at right now, type 2. And maybe to really hear it, you could crank the level of that. As you can see here, you get drastically different sounds depending on which type. You can mess with the width. And same thing with room. And just for sake of hearing the difference, you could turn it back up. You can see once you get to the stages and the halls, it gets pretty big. And I think this is the part that really gives you your character and sound. But now that we've kind of figured it out, I'm going to turn that back down quite a bit. And overhead and room, it's really all just taste. I wish they had more to go by than the types. I wish they had like real microphones, but this is what we got. So it's really just going to take some experimentation on your end to find which sound is pleasing to your ears. And it might change for every song that you're working on, so it's nice to have those options. Another thing I want to point out is if you go over here, back to the kit edit, they have this EQ. And I found that I like to really crank the high end because I like the sound of the cymbals to kind of tickle your ears. You can see it's already at a +3, but don't be afraid to go even crazier than that, You could really crank it to get some character. Alright, so from here, I think my kit has a little bit too much room sound. So you kit edit, let's go back to room. We're just going to turn that down a little bit. maybe down to 0. Same thing with overhead. I think it's just a little too much. So we could just turn that down. I think that's working pretty good. Now here's another trick that I like to do for the toms especially. I like to put another layer underneath the main sound. So you just slightly turn the instrument knob, hit edit, and go to sub-instrument. And right now you can see it's off. A good option that I really like are the plugged toms. So let's see if we could find those. But like I said, I really like the plug. So that's at 271. Go really fast now. And that just makes them sound a little bit more full and beefy. You know, it's like when you're in the recording studio and the producer just layers something underneath your acoustic sound. It's kind of like doing that, but just up front. Gives you a nice, fat. Yeah, I'm digging that. So yeah, let's see. This is how our kit's sounding now. We could compare that to what we started with, kit 20. You can tell right away, pretty big difference. This one's pretty bland, but good starting point. And that'll do it for this video. And to recap, it's really just starting with one of the Roland preset kits that you really like. Just spend some time trying all of them, see what one is a good starting point for you. And then I would just pick new drums to replace the existing ones that replicate the kind of kit that you would play in real life. It doesn't have to be that complicated. I don't think you need to spend money on sample packs or anything. You got all the tools right here. So just go in there and be creative. Have fun with it. Don't expect to learn it all in one day. It took me, I'd say 3-4 months to get really comfortable with this thing. But it's worth the effort. If you like this video, please give me a subscribe. If you have any other things you'd like me to discuss, I'm open to it. And thank you for watching, and have a good rest of your day. Thank you.